Bonjour mes gourmands, today we're making French Flan. As you might know, Vietnam has been a French colony for quite some time in the past, which is also the reason why you find so many French influences in both Vietnamese cuisine and culture. And the French Flan is one of the most established French dishes that have been sold in Vietnamese restaurants for ages. I always loved flan because when I was little, my mom used to make them every other week as a treat for the family. And I still remember myself sitting there and watching them cool off in the fridge, so looking forward to taste them. Now all the talk about flan got me really excited. Let's start cooking! For this dish you will need 5 eggs, 150 grams of sugar, 1700 ml of milk for the custard, and 5 tablespoons of sugar for the caramel sauce. So I'm using 14 of these little glass containers for my flans. They can hold up to 100-ish milliliters I think, but I'll only pour in about 75 milliliters. You can use any heat-resistant container you like. If you don't want to divide everything into little portions, you can also make it into one big bowl. That works just as well. Now first we'll want to caramelize our sugar. I put the 5 tablespoons of sugar into my pot and set the stove on high heat. You'll need to work fast here because once the sugar caramelizes, it burns and hardens easily. Prepare some oven mitts and a spoon for later use. Once the sugar starts to melt, I'm lowering the heat down to medium and keep on stirring until the caramel hits the desired color. This took only 2 minutes from heating up the pot until the finish. Personally, I think I managed a good color. But if you like a brighter color caramel sauce, you can take it earlier off the heat too. Remember that, because of the remaining heat in the pot, it continues to get darker after you take it off the stove. Be quick to spoon the caramel into your containers before it hardens. Now we're going to prepare the custard. Start mixing the eggs first. I recommend to either use the hand mixer on the lowest speed available or, even better, to whisk it manually with the neck beater so that the custard mix doesn't froth up that much. Once your egg yolks and whites are combined, add sugar and then milk. In the end, I skimmed off some of the foam that was sitting on top of the custard mix. Ladle the custard mix into your containers and we're ready to steam. I'm using my good old metal steamer here. As you can see, it consists of 4 parts. The base is for the water, then there are 2 adult parts for the food, and then there's the lid. Works perfectly fine for the amount of custards I'm making today. Now, if you don't have a steamer like that, then don't worry. You can just improvise one. Take a bigger pot, put in a little heat-resistant bowl in there to stabilize the plate that goes on top of it, and when you put on the lid, you have your improvised steamer. If you find that there's too little water in the pot, you can just add water through the space between your pot wall and your plate. Just try not to get any water into the custard, or that might spoil them. Now I'm filling water into the base of my pot and I'm turning the stove on high heat until the water boils. Once it does, I turn down the heat to medium. While waiting for my water to boil, I'm filling the add-ons with my custard so that I just have to put them on top of the base later. If you're using the improvised steamer, then you might want to wait until the water is cooking before you put the custard containers onto the plate in the pot. Don't forget your oven mitts then! I'm closing it with a lid and after about 30 minutes, I check on the custard with the skewer. If you see liquid running down your skewer, then you'll want to leave it in for another couple of minutes. If the skewer comes out clean, then the custard is ready to be taken off the heat. Now, depending on how much water you're using, the steaming process can take 30 to 45 minutes. Don't be afraid to leave them in a bit longer if you're not sure whether or not they're done. It won't spoil because of the heat. So this is what the flan looks like when it's done. I can't wait to try them. Need to wait for it to cool though before I can try it. A flan is traditionally served upside down. If you'd like to do that, then take a sharp and thin knife to run it along the edge of the custard to loosen it. Put a plate on top of your container and flip it quickly. Doesn't the luscious caramel sauce look gorgeous? And here you have it, your self-made flan. I think strawberries and a block of whipped cream would have looked beautiful on the edge of the plate, but I wanted to show you the classic flan, so I just skipped that. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please let me know in the comments box below whether or not you like to have dessert after your main course or not. Maybe you're like me and you always overeat during your main course and you have like literally no space left for dessert after that. So I usually have sweet treats in between meals or whenever I feel like having them. which is always. Please thumbs up this video if you found it helpful, subscribe to become a gourmand today, and don't forget to follow me on Twitter or Instagram for the latest updates. As always, thank you very much for watching this video, and see you next Friday with a new recipe.